Hello everybody and welcome again to yet another iRONiX media video. Now, have you ever wondered how a computer or even your smartphone is able to generate that clear image on your screen? I mean, like, how are you even able to watch this video right now? Or how are you able to play that beloved video game of yours very smoothly on your screen? You see what I mean? You see, now once your computer is done processing applications in the CPU, just like we learned in my last video, the next step for it is to display it on your monitor. The image you see on your screen is made up of thousands and thousands of tiny dots called pixels. Hata vile unanicheki sahi, this image is made up of very tiny dots which are called pixels. Your computer now is the one that's supposed to decide what to do with each pixel, and it's the one that's supposed to decide hii pixel inafaa kwenda wapi, hii pixel inafaa kwenda wapi, so that combined all of them they can be able to come up with a very smooth and clear image. And for this to happen, your computer needs a translator to take the zeros and ones into a form that you can understand. And what's the name of this translator? It's what we are going to talk about today. The graphics card, aka one of the most expensive devices on your computer. Initially, the CPU together with the software applications send information about the image to the graphics card, which then decides how to use the pixels to create that clear image on your screen. The image is now sent to your monitor or screen through a cable, and this cable can either be VGA, HDMI or DVI. And let me tell you, creating an image out of zeros and ones, it's a demanding process, and the ability to perform that group of tasks very quickly and chap is important in generating three-dimensional images. For instance, creating a 3D image, the graphics card will have to create a frame out of straight lines, and then it fills the remaining part with the remaining pixels. It's the same way that you learned in geometry about length, width and height. The graphics card kind of does the same simple but very many calculations so that it can be able to come up with that clear 3D image. For modern high definition images, for example the ones you find in your beloved games, the computer will have to go through this process for about 60 times per second, and that's quite intense. And without the graphics card to do these necessary calculations, the workload is going to be too much for the CPU to handle. So basically the graphics card acts like a smaller version of your computer that is specifically designed and dedicated to process the graphics on your computer. And just like your computer, your graphics card has three main components. It has its own motherboard, it has its own processor which is called the graphics processing unit or the GPU, and its own memory which is called the video RAM, or in other words the VRAM. The GPU on your graphics card is kind of the same with the CPU on your entire computer. The only difference is the task they perform and the number of cores that they have. A CPU may have at least 8 cores, while a GPU may have between 1,000 or up to even 4,000 of them. Although a CPU has less cores, each core in the CPU is far much powerful than each core in the GPU. And this is because CPUs are required to handle logic calculations and instructions which are very complicated. Even though CPU cores are powerful, they can only be able to carry out one heavy task at a time. And when we are talking about processing instructions, that's okay. But when it comes to graphical calculations, it's not a good idea. This is because it's not that graphical calculations are complicated, it's just that there are thousands and thousands of them. And since the CPU can only be able to do one at a time, it's going to result in wastage of time and quality of an image, because images require very quick processing, and even the videos that you even see require very quick processing. But with the graphics card, all these simple tasks can be done simultaneously and very quickly. And you'll find that most computers come with inbuilt, especially the modern ones, they come with their inbuilt graphics card. But again, most of them are just for basic rendering, and that is why you find that in some computers you may not be able to run a very heavy software because it's going to ask for more resources, and therefore you might need to go out there and upgrade your graphics card to maybe a graphics card with more VRAM or even with more processing power, so that you can be able to run a very smooth game or even a very smooth, heavy or intense software. For instance, the latest we have for PCs at the time of this recording is the nvidia GeForce RTX 3080, which has a VRAM of about 24 gigabytes, and the AMD Radeon RX 6800, which has almost 16 gigabytes. And trust me when I say that if I say the price of one of them, some of you are going to get into a coma. That's all I had for you today, and I hoped I've helped you or someone out there. And let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. If you have any queries or suggestions, be sure to comment pale chini. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't for more content. Be sure to do so, and a thumbs up will be badass and will be appreciated if you do so and if you liked the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned.